The next thing I'd like to cover are tournament cost and talk a little bit about corporate sponsorships. The tournament cost is obviously it's going to cost you the cost of your green fee, which means using the course plus cart fees and any other fees that the course may want to charge you. For us, that was $50, and then we just had lunch. That was another $17 or so. $15, I guess, is what it was. So $12 to $15, and then over and above that, we added a few dollars to cover costs of prizes or things that we wanted each player to have when they left the tournament. So all in all, we ended up originally for the first tournament, our cost was $85, and we provided about $20 in gift to the charity per player. And eventually, when all was said and done, we had a $100 tournament with $25 going to each charity. And that's really, you may be able to save a few dollars here and there. It really depends on where your prizes are coming from, whether they're donated or someone gives you money to buy prizes. But that was about the best thing we could do for the cost of the tournament was $100. The other thing was you got to decide who is your audience. If a $500 a player audience is out there, well, by golly, congratulations! You ought to be able to make a lot on a tournament with 100 plus players. But we were just happy to not make people feel like they were digging too deep into their pocket with a $100 player per player tournament, and other expenses in the tournament itself. So you're essentially getting people to pay $100 up front. I strongly suggest you use PayPal or electronic means of some kind to pay for the tournament. The costs and the hassle of using checks is one I would not recommend. So electronic means for paying for the tournament when possible by each player. The other thing that you can generate revenue from the tournament is games within the game of golf. So you'll have closest to the pin, longest drive, mulligans, which means 4 shots per round that each player can take that don't count, essentially. And you charge for each one of those. All I'd caution you on is we didn't want to make the whole tournament into what I call a circus, and where you have so many games that it's distracting, and you really never get any momentum in the game of golf. And the other thing is, if you have too many games and too many peripheral events, it'll take you 6 hours to play a round of golf, and that's just asking a lot of your participants. So while you had volunteers helping with the tournament, and you have players gladly spending $100 and enjoying an afternoon out, what starts as an afternoon turns into an early evening, and all of a sudden what was intended to be lots of fun, because not only do you have a round of golf, then you usually have a drink maybe afterwards and an awards presentation, and that may take an hour or two. So what was intended to be lighthearted fun turns into literally a marathon if you're not careful. And then weather can certainly play a role in that. So I just caution you on that one. The idea of corporate sponsorships, wholeheartedly endorse that. You will know whether or not those are likely or possible in your area. If you want to raise major amounts of money, that is certainly the way to do it, because they can come up with funding and gifts and prizes that individuals probably can't, and it will certainly generate a lot more revenue for your gift to the charity. The challenge there is finding new sources of corporate sponsorship, because many of them have ongoing relationships with golf tournaments, and so you'll need to carefully examine that to figure out where the best opportunities are. And we'll just pause this before I hit the last segment.